All right, today we're diving into the pitch for a company called Satellite Streets. Their ambition is huge, to build the digital roads and highways for the entire new space economy. Let's get right into it.
So the pitch kicks off with this quote, and talk about a statement of intent, right? They're basically saying, we're not just making an app here, we're building something foundational, something that will be remembered, like the Roman roads or the internet itself. It really sets the stage for the massive scale of their vision.
And here's what that vision looks like in one sentence. They're building the roads of space commerce. It's such a great metaphor. You know, just like physical roads and ports unlocked global trade here on Earth, they want to build the digital plumbing that's going to unlock commerce way beyond our planet.
Okay, so here's how we're going to break it all down. We'll start with that big vision, then dig into the very specific problem they're solving. After that, we'll unpack their software solution and its coolest features, look at how they make money, and then wrap up with their tech and where they're headed next. First up, that grand vision. What does it actually mean when they call themselves a port for planets?
Well, this is the core idea. They are positioning themselves as more than just a tool. They want to be the central hub, the one destination where all the complex logistics, the sourcing of parts, and the deal-making for the entire space industry can happen in one efficient and, most importantly, secure place.
And you can see why the timing is so critical. We are standing right on the edge of a brand new commercial frontier in space. But to actually go out and build businesses there, you absolutely need the underlying infrastructure to support it all. I mean, you can't build skyscrapers on dirt paths, right? And you definitely can't build a trillion-dollar space economy without these digital roads.
So if the opportunity is that massive, what's stopping us? What's the big problem? That brings us to the real conflict in this story, the huge hurdle that Satellite Streets was actually built to overcome.
The problem, in one word, is friction. Specifically, all the friction in aerospace procurement. Think about it. When you're building a rocket, sourcing a tiny component is an incredibly high-risk decision. The compliance rules are a total maze. It's really hard to know who can actually build what they claim they can. And the result of all that friction? Well, a satellite that should take 2 years to build might end up taking 4, which doubles the cost and delays critical scientific missions.
Okay, so how in the world do you solve a problem that big and that complicated? Let's take a look at their solution, which, as you'll see, has evolved into a really comprehensive platform designed to tackle this friction head-on.
Now, this slide is really interesting because it shows a crucial strategic pivot they made. They didn't start by building a simple marketplace to just find parts. They realized the real problem wasn't discovery, it was trust and efficiency. So they evolved and built a full-blown software-as-a-service, or SaaS platform. It's basically an engine to manage the entire messy process of procurement, compliance, and audits.
And they break this engine down into 3 distinct layers, which makes a lot of sense. First up is the trust layer, and that's all about making sure suppliers are legit and that their tech is actually ready for space. Next, you've got the compliance layer, which is for securely managing who gets to see sensitive documents. And finally, there's the intelligence layer, which uses data to give companies a real edge with insights into the market.
Okay, so those layers sound good in theory, but let's get more specific. What are the actual tools that make up these layers and deliver real value to the people using the platform?
Before we look at one of their killer features, we got to quickly understand this term, TRL, which stands for Technology Readiness Level. It's a universal scale, it goes from 1 to 9, and it's used across the aerospace industry to measure how mature a piece of technology is, you know, from a sketch on the back of a napkin all the way to being fully proven in space. And this right here is how they use that TRL concept to build their trust layer. It's brilliant. By putting a standardized TRL badge on every component, a buyer can see in an instant if a part is just a prototype or if it's genuinely ready to fly. This one feature cuts through a massive amount of risk and uncertainty. It builds trust instantly.
And for their bigger enterprise customers, the platform goes way deeper. They've got tools like an intelligence dashboard so you can see market capabilities at a glance, and templates for creating a request for quotations, or RFQs, in just minutes instead of weeks. There's even a classified mode for securely handling super-sensitive documents.
So this is clearly a powerful platform, but how does it actually work as a business? How do you make money from building this kind of digital infrastructure? Well, they use a classic three-tier subscription model, which is pretty smart. If you're just exploring the market or you're a small supplier, you can browse around for free. If you're an active buyer or a growing company, the Pro tier lets you actually create quotes and do business. And then, if you're a big organization that needs all those advanced intelligence and compliance tools, you subscribe to the Enterprise tier. And just to put a real number on it, that Enterprise tier is priced at just under 10,000 rupees a month. Now that shows they're targeting serious players, who see this as a small investment compared to the huge gains in efficiency and risk reduction they get in return. All right, finally, let's take a quick look under the hood. I mean, for a platform that wants to be this critical to an entire industry, it has to be built on a solid foundation and have a really clear path forward.
Now, you don't need to be a developer to get this slide. The key takeaway is that they are using a modern, standard, and really robust tech stack. These are all proven technologies, which signals that the platform is reliable and, more importantly, that it's built to scale as this whole space economy continues to grow.
And they're not stopping there. They have a clear roadmap for the future, and it's focused on key features that big enterprise customers need. Things like single sign-on or SSO for easy and secure logins, and APIs, which will allow their platform to connect seamlessly with all the other critical software their customers already use. And that brings us right back to where we started, to that grand vision. If a platform like this can really remove the friction of building for space, if it truly becomes the road network for this new economy, it just makes you wonder, what incredible new companies, technologies, and destinations will it ultimately help unlock? And that wraps up our teardown of the pitch for Satellite Streets, a company aiming to be nothing less than the port for planetary business.